Right.
All right, good morning everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of this live stream with my friend Richard Kochinash. Hopefully you were all able to tune in yesterday or watch back the day's work that we did later on. Hopefully today you'll be able to join us live. And as I mentioned yesterday, we really want everyone to not be shy and submit questions and be a part of the conversation. So Rick is ready to go. He's got his new setup going. We sent out the email to everyone with a JPEG reference. My painting and setup are going to stay the same throughout the 3 days. So I'll let Rick just get started with some of the differences that maybe from today or yesterday.
Yeah, our idea, what we talked about was doing 2 bouquets because I like to paint quicker. I don't get caught up in the details as much. I don't think at least my process is quicker. And then my thinking was to be able to do a dark bouquet against a lighter background, and then a light bouquet against a dark background, and then take it to completion the following day. One of them, to see which 2 worked. And it was kind of interesting because the first day we talked about this, and this is good for everybody to know as far as just the bouquet selection and the process. As if you're in love with it. We had this conversation. I was not as in love with that first bouquet, but the second one I'm really excited about. And what's fun too is Michael gave me one of his panels. I usually work on a different surface from white, and I'm going to give this a shot. So this is a great chance. Yeah, so we'll be doing it that way. So, so see how the ship floats on this one here in live. Actually, this is pretty good. Oh, one of the things I did though too, for those of you that weren't here yesterday, was I used the reducing lens, and I used it as an aperture. I don't know which is the best angle for you, but it's actually, is that a good one right there? It actually takes the image and reduces it down. I move the tape so that the ratio now is more into a square, which fits the canvas itself.
Right.
So I can compose through here. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm looking at that as if I were standing way far back. And for me, that really simplifies the process because now it really is a massive light against the dark. So that's going to be my job. I'll be just painting the background and leaving some passages around here and then putting some light values in. Normally I'd be wiping them away, but we'll see what happens here. So, all right.
That's great. All right, let's jump in.
I'm ready to go.
So for everyone who is new to any of my teaching, if you haven't seen any of the other videos and this is your first time on the second day, what I start to do is I incorporate oleo gel into the process. It's a medium that's available from Natural Pigments. It's oil suspended in fumed silica and wax. And basically it allows you to do some glazing and manipulating the paint in a way that is slightly different than if I were to take oil and put it in a terp cup, a medium cup. With this gel, I'm able to put a little bit of Gamsol in my brush. I kind of start to think about how, going back to that watercolor idea, Rick, that you talked about yesterday.
Right.
Actually, I tell students that, so right now my sable brush is full of Gamsol, and it's kind of like watercolor because you got to know how much Gamsol is in there, and that starts to make you understand the ratio of your medium that you're using. So it's good practice to fiddle around with watercolor because that then gives you sensitivity to your oil paints. So I'm just thinning out the background. I kind of think of it as a meditative process, and I try to go through the same steps as yesterday. So I'll be doing a subtle glaze back into some of the background.
Oh yeah, there's a decidedly different. I mean, you got a lot of texture already on here.
Yeah.
Is that intentional? Just wondering.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. To throw me off, or to help me out?
I had it all planned out.
All right. Just had to ask. You know.
Do you like it? The way
I
it's
like it. I do.
sinking in.
Yes.
The lead is definitely.
Yeah, it makes a
Yeah,
difference. Yeah,
right.
you got to tell people about that. That's
Yeah.
great. I like that.
So the ground that he's using, I prepared with it's the alkyd lead ground from Natural Pigments, and I put some raw umber and ivory black into it.
Wow. Yeah, this will be fun here. Yeah, I think that what we noticed yesterday, there weren't that many questions, and I think that questions are good, like you mentioned. If people have any questions at all, I think that'd be really good
Yeah.
fill in time because we've run out of things to talk about.
Today is Saturday as well. I'm sure there's more people
Oh yeah,
tuning in.
yeah, that'll be good.
Also, don't forget to mention if you are international, mention where you're from, so we can.
Oh, too, I'm using these long brushes. I don't know if the people are coming new. That's another different thing here, these extra longs. And I really like these brushes because you could stand back and paint. So these long brushes, I don't know where you're looking. Oh, right here? Yeah, so you see they are very long brushes here. Well, there's two things I like about them. The main thing I like about it is that it does gives you the ability to be able to stand back and to see your work and your subject matter at the same time. And since I'm working site size, I don't have to be moving back and forth. I don't have to lose my position, because that's one of the things about working site size is you want to go back to the same point, because if you're getting multiple points every time you're going back and forth, your drawing could get far off. So this way you can actually stand in a static position and then paint from that while you're looking. And the second reason I like them too is that they are looser. By the very fact that you're extending that range and having to kind of, reach forward, it really helps you with the looseness. And I like that part of it too, because I can't get very tight with things right away. So that's only a benefit to me. So.
When you mix it out like that, what is it that you identify with first? Are you going, you thinking about the...
Oh, you mean these notes here that I'm putting down here? Well, the first thing was value. I had to get that down further. And I wanted, this dark reddish tone. I wanted to get that down in the beginning, because I'm going to kind of find it in these areas here. There's like the unity I'm seeing is there's...
in the shadows.
Yeah, in the shadows and in the deep, greens back in here. And then with these flowers too, behind the inside of the flowers. And we talked about that yesterday, that the inside of the flowers are very chromatic. So I'm trying to go for that early on. So let me just, So that's the first thing I'm looking for, is to be able to get that value down. And then I'm thinking about, I don't want to get too chromatic in the beginning, even though I'm pretty bright here. But so with the same brush, I am going to throw some of that warmth behind the scenes in here. I just am seeing a bit of it in these areas.
So a lot of people ask about drawing of paint, and if you do anything to speed up the drawing process. And with the light ground, it tends to absorb it. So usually overnight, if I use just Gamsol the first day, it's drawing from both directions. So it's being absorbed into the ground, and the air is drawing it as well on the outside. But then the idea with the oil is that it allows you, if you use Gamsol going into it right away, then you're going to lift it up. But the oil sits on the surface of that, what we did yesterday. So then when I'm going in and doing this kind of a lot of people talk about oiling out and creating a cushion to paint into. What I do is I mix the note that I want, because I like a lot of layers in my painting. I want so many layers that people can't tell what's going on. And so the more layers, more opportunity for layers, I go for that. So instead of just oiling out, I actually like to oil out with another note that's closer to what I'm seeing. So you just continually push towards something a little bit more accurate. So whatever you're doing, that it keep building. So in this sense, I'm oiling out, but I'm also adjusting the value of the background and playing with some of the atmosphere of the background.
Well, that's a clever way of doing it. That's smart. Right.
And then going into so I talk to people about when you're in New York City or whatever, and you're coming into the studio and you just got off the subway and your mind is a little bit, frazzled or whatever. It's just you're not thinking slowly. I don't jump into the details. I just it's like stretching. It's like I just kind of hang out for a while and do these bigger areas until I start to really feel the work again. And then once my mind is back into it, then I can start painting with a little bit more energy. And
yeah, I tell a lot of students of mine about in the book of Genesis. I talk about in the beginning, when God made, formed, and created things. The first thing he did was kind of said, "Let there be light." And there was light, and then he separated the light from the darkness, the day and the night.
Sure.
Just really general.
Right.
And then he separated the waters above the firmament, below. So it was like these general components. So I say that much in the same way when you're bringing it out, you don't get into the details. You're just kind of, on the first day, you're just separating things out.
Yeah, sure.
So you do that with that theory, 7 days to finish your painting there. You rest, but...
give you a week.
If it took God 7 days, well, then maybe you could give yourself a little leeway there with finishing your thing. But I think that the idea being that, and you mentioned it yesterday, you said some people go right in there and go into getting things.
Yeah.
Kind of, wasn't that like a...
Right, that's the idea, the difference between the Impressionists and the academic approach. The academic approach would be much more systematic and you would want to do you would probably do a series of drawings and work up to developing your composition and figuring it out from a different perspective.
Mm. Well, I'm going to be standing back. Take a look. I really like these long brushes, though. There's something about the fun of working this way. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Well, it's different, but I don't know. There's just a freedom and a looseness that I just really connect with.
We've got a question. We've got two right off the bat, really. So the first one's from Marcella in Ireland.
Nice.
Saying, "Hi Michael and Richard, a question for Michael. Do you find it difficult to get back into the painting after a day or so break?"
It's again part of that process. So it depends on what you work on. So at this point, I haven't done anything really too difficult. So you warm up to it, and if you tend to be of the mindset that what you're seeing is different than you're painting, and then you panic and you're constantly trying to catch up, and you feel like you're always wrong. But you should look at it on a more positive side and say, what are the opportunities that I still have in nature then to dive into and absorb? And so there's areas that are different, and you know, there's on mine now. I didn't take a picture of the second day. We were a little bit rushed going into it, but some of the browns have fallen down. Some of the dried leaves are coming down.
It's frozen.
Is the YouTube stream frozen too? Yeah.
What's that?
It looks like it might be fixed.
It'll be okay.
Oh, some.
The app froze.
Check this mirror. Are they watching visually? I mean, is it just without sound?
No, it's frozen, I think, this time.
I think you accidentally clicked the home button and then you went to settings.
We've got nobody viewing order.
No one what?
You got 0 viewers.
It didn't, so the link didn't go
I
there.
got 8. Maybe something's coming back on.
There's no emails yet, so people aren't panicking quite yet.
Well, I'm not checking them. They're in my pocket.
Do you want me to like close the whole Sling Studio like we did yesterday?
If we do that, we have to start the whole project again and send out a new link.
Mm.
If that's what you did yesterday, you swiped it up where it went out and then you clicked back in and said, don't worry, you didn't lose it.
Oh, right, was it? Yeah, okay, but that's not closing the project. That's just refreshing the page. Sorry, yeah.
How's it look on YouTube? Does it show anything?
It's
On the
showing
website?
your camera angle,
Production.
but the whole thing is frozen in Slate.
Okay.
Wow.
Let me shoot out an email through MailChimp. Nelly, can I sit there really quick?
Here you go.
Thanks.
You just keep trying to refresh it because we did that
Okay.
several times yesterday.
Mhm.
didn't we? It
Yep.
just worked.
Come on, thing. There we go. Like it's even showing some sort of volume, but it's not.
You're not getting any audio?
No, that was the first thing that cut out.
Okay. But the only way around this, I know, is restart the whole thing.
Okay.
That's the only way around it, I know.
Okay. But we could re-link that project back to that same spot.
Yeah, we
like
might be able to
used
get the destination back. But we would have to set up a whole new project,
Okay,
all the split screens again.
that's fine. I can do that quickly. That's not hard.
Why is there 8? Do we know? What? It's just 8 on the
There's 8 people viewing, waiting for it to come back, I think.
yeah, okay. Yeah, if I'm
One of them's us.
Yeah.
if you shoot me a new link, I can potentially.
We
Put it
might not
right
need
here.
a new link. It's more a project, and so we might have to.
How would we do that when it would, when we would like get disconnected and freeze back in the day?
Well, it used to, on the desktop, would give us a click through of what to do to resolve it. We're not getting that on this. So it would come up with all the different messages, and you just go next, 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 and then it does it all for you.
Should we try to close the project and then try to get back into it?
Yeah, we can, but that's the only thing we can do. Okay, so we're gonna have to come off.
Connecting to YouTube. Why? How could they hear audio though? It's stuck on that camera.
Yeah, it's not, it's repeating.
What if you
right
close
at
that
the time,
down?
Like when I was asking you what we did back in the day.
So now there's only one.
Mm.
What if you close that down and I pull up Sling here? We do it on desktop.
That's
I mean, you can do.
Just close that and see if.
Seems, yeah, I mean, this is the second day now with the glitch.
Multiple console app connected to Sling Studio. Only one console app allowed per Sling Studio. So just, yeah,
We're going to have to close the project if you want to do that,
okay.
which is basically.
Wait. So that's a new angle. So what happened?
Wait,
So maybe it's.
Well, that's because you're 20, 30 seconds behind.
Oh, okay. So maybe it
okay,
is.
where our audio's back.
But we've still got frozen images. That's frozen and that's frozen.
Okay. Sure.
So I don't know if that's actually given us a real life image or a frozen image.
Throw some paint on your canvas.
Oh,
No, sorry, dude.
yeah. I'll just put a line in here. Let's just. You see that?
It'll take about 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I like your start, Rick. That looks good.
Oh, thanks.
Hold on.
Well, that's too
Audio,
bad.
the audio is still working, so
Do they hear us now?
be right
They
here.
can.
Can we tell them that we're having?
Mhm.
Well, they can tell.
No.
Oh,
Image is frozen, but we have audio.
We need to close the whole. We just need to close it out and start again.
did you want to say something before you close off? I mean, do they know that it's not them?
So yeah, we're in the process of trying to fix the technical difficulty, and we'll send a new email link to you as soon as we get it figured out. If you can hear us.
Is anybody else?
The 6 people that are on.
Is that complete?